I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you had an amazing day. All right, so for today, we are going to be doing the today we'll be focusing on the grade 1 English lesson on contractions. All right, and before we start with our grade 1 English lesson on contractions, we are going to log into the A plus students. We're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. You're going to log in with your username as well as your password. And then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 1. All right, so once we have selected the subject of language arts, grade 1, we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of contractions. So we're going to click on contractions. So once we're in the chapter of contractions, our focus lessons for today is to form pronoun verb contractions, to form contractions with not, and to complete the sentence with the correct contractions, right? So before we start, we're going to go into our first lesson, which is form pronoun verb contractions. All right. So a contraction, right? A contraction, it is a short form of two words, right? So it's like we have shortened two words. So it's a short form of two words. And these two words are put together and some letters are left out, right? These are contractions. So contractions is a short form of two words. And these words are put together. And once you put some of these words together, some are left out, right? We then use an apostrophe to show where the letters are left out. So, once again, a contraction is a short form of two words. So we have two words, right? But now it is shortened. And the two words we then put together, right? And once we put the two words together, some letters are left out. We then use an apostrophe to show where the letters are that was left out, right? And an example of contraction is I am. So I am is that two words, right? I am. But now the short form of the two words, right? But also using the apostrophe is I'm. So it is I apostrophe M. So I apostrophe M. So I'm. So I am, once again, is that two words, and I'm is the short form of the two words, which is I'm instead of I am. So I am also stands for I'm. So we just say I apostrophe M, and that means I am. So instead of saying I am going to the park, right? Let me write it down. So instead of saying I am going to the park, we can use these two words, right? And we can use that in a shorter form by saying I. So I'm. So we use the apostrophe over there to also show where the letters are left out. And A is left out, right? So we say I'm going to the park. So now this word is our contraction, I'm, because it is a short form of the two words I am. All right. Then we also have these other two words, right? You will. So you will is a two words, right? And the contraction is a short form of these two words, which is you will. It's like saying you'll, right? So instead of saying you will, you can say you. So for example, you will get mail. You will get an, let's just say you'll get mail, which is like a letter. Or let's say you get sweets. You will get sweet or candy, right? So if you will, so that is the two words. These are the two words, right? And the short form of these two words is you'll. And we put our apostrophe over there to show that there is words missing. And the words missing over there is the W and the I. W and the I are the letters, that are missing. And now we put our apostrophe over there. So we basically show where the letters are left out by putting the apostrophe over there. So you will get sweets or candy, or we can say you'll get sweets or candy. So you'll is our contraction because it is our short form of the two words you will. So you'll is short for you will, right? So you'll is the contraction of the two words you will. So once again, a contraction is a short form of two words. It's a short form of two words. And the words are put together and some letters are left out, right? An apostrophe. An apostrophe then shows where the letters are left out. And we made an example of I am, which is that two words. And the short form of I am is I'm. And then we have you will, and the short for you will is you'll, right? And these are contractions, which is I'm and you, right? All right. So now if we go to our very first question, it says fill in the contraction that matches the word. So now we need to fill in the contraction that matches the word, right? So we are. We are is that two words, right? And we need to basically form a shorter form of the words we are. We need to get the short form of the two words we are. So we are is, so we have we are, and the contractions for we are is we're. It's like saying we're, right? And we put the apostrophe because the A is missing, right? So the A is missing. So we're, it's the same as saying we are. So the contraction, which is the short form of the two words, is we're, right? It's like saying, we are going to the beach, right? So it says, instead of saying we are going to the beach, we can say we're apostrophe going to the beach, right? So where is the contraction or the short form of the two words we are, right? So that is the contraction, or another word is a short form of the two words, for example, we are. All right, I will. I will. So we need to find the contraction, which is the short form of the word I will. So I will. The short form for I will, right, is I'll. So I will is I'll. And we put our apostrophe because the words that, or let's say the letters that are missing is the W and the I. So the W and the I is missing, or left out, so it is I'll. So instead of saying I will, we can just say I'll, right? So I will fetch, let's say, the water, right? Or the bucket. So instead of saying I will fetch the water or fetch the bucket, we can say I'll fetch the water. So I'll is the contraction of the two words I will, right? So now we have they will, right? We need to find the contraction or fill in the contraction that matches the words they will. So we need to find the contraction that matches the words they will. And they will, right? We need to basically shorten that two words, right? We need to find the short form of that words, which is they will. And if we shorten that two words, which is they will, and then we will basically say they'll, right? So they'll. So we have they, and now we leave out W and I, we put apostrophe, and we put the double L, right? So they'll. So they'll. They'll is the contraction or the short form of the two words they will, right? So if we were to make a sentence with that word they will, then we can say, they will go to Disneyland. So they will go to Disneyland next week, right? So instead of saying they will go to Disneyland, so instead of saying they will, we can say they'll, apostrophe, because now we left out the two letters, which is W and I. So they'll go to Disneyland, right? So the contractions over there is they'll, and the contractions they'll is the short form of the two words they will, right? So they'll is the contraction or the short form of the two words they will. All right. We go to the next one, right? He is. He is. If we were to find the contraction or the short form of the two words he is, right? Then it is like saying his. His, which is he, right? Apostrophe. We leave out the I and we just put the is. So his stands for he is. So his is a short form for he is, right? So that is the contraction of he is, or more like the short form of he is, right? Um, so we can say he is kicking the ball, right? So instead of saying he is kicking the ball, we can say he's apostrophe is kicking the ball, right? And that is, or that shows the contractions. So he's, let me write it properly, just so that we can see it more clearly. So he's, right? So that is the contraction or the short form of he is. So he's. And like we say, whenever we put the apostrophe shows where the letters are left out, right? And the letter that is left out over there is I. So instead of he is, we remove the I and we put the apostrophe over there. So now it's he's, right? So not he is, but he's kicking the ball. All right, you will. So you will, we need to find the contraction or the shortened form of the two words, which is you will, right? And you will, if we were to write that in the shorter form, we will say you, right? And apostrophe, because now we're going to leave out the letters W and I, and we just put the double L. And that means you'll. It's the same as you will, right? So we will say you will go to practice, right? So you will go to practice. So you will is our two words. And if we were to shorten that two words or the shortened form of that two words, which is another word, is the contractions of these two words, we will say you apostrophe, you go to practice, right? So oopsie, you'll is a shortened form of you will. You. You apostrophe double L. It stands for you will. It is. It is. Right? So the shortened form or the short form of the word it is, or the two words it is, right? Another word for the short form is the contraction of it is. We can say it's. So it is it's, it, apostrophe. We leave out the I and we just put the is. So it's, right? So now if we were to create a sentence, we can say it is raining. Oopsie. So it is, we're going to say raining outside. It's raining outside, right? So if we were to shorten these two words, right, or to find the contractions of the words it is, then we will say it's apostrophe is it apostrophe is it's raining outside, right? And that is the contractions or a short form of the two words, which is it is, right? So it is. So it's is the contraction or the short form of the two words, which is it is. So it is raining outside, or we can just say it's raining outside, right? So basically, a contraction is a short form of two words, and the words that are put together, right? And the words that are put together, and then some letters we then left out, right? And remember the words that we left out, or the letters that we leave out, we then put the apostrophe there. For in case here with it's, right, or it is, we put an apostrophe and we left out the I. It is, right? So we put the apostrophe for apostrophe S. All right, so now we're gonna go to our test, right? We're gonna go and do a little test in forming pronoun verb contractions. Okay, we need to fill in the contraction that matches the words, right? So the contractions is a shorten, it's like a short form of the two words, right? So it will. So it will. So is it it it'll? It's like it'll, or is it it apostrophe will? So is it it apostrophe double L, or it apostrophe will? So we need to find the contractions or the short form of the two words it will. And if we find the contractions or the short forms of the word it will, and then we can say it, it'll. So it's like saying it'll, right? Not the second option. And the apostrophe is there to show that we left W and I out. All right. They are. They are. We need to find the contractions of the words they are. Is it the first option, which is there, which is they apostrophe RE, or is it they are? The contraction of the two words they are. Let's say the short form of the words they are. And if we find the contraction or the short form of the words they are, then we can say it's there, right? They are going to Disneyland. It's like saying they are going to Disneyland. And remember, we shorten that words. They will. They will, right? Is it they'll, which is they apostrophe double L, or they will, right? So we need to fill in the contractions that matches the words. So they will or they'll. All right, so if we find the contractions that matches the words, right, then we can say it is they will be they'll, right? Because remember, they will, the second option, is not shortened. So which means that the shortened form is, or the contraction is they'll, apostrophe double L. He will, right? Is it the first option, which is he will, or he'll, right? He'll, which is he apostrophe double L. We need to find the contractions. So the contraction of the shortened, or the shortened form of he will, is the second option, which is he'll, right? The first option is not shortened. So he'll. So if you have that, then well done. So that is basically where we form pronoun verb contractions, right? So now we're going to go on to form contractions with not. So we're going to form contractions with not, right? And once again, a contraction is a short form of two words. So contraction is a short form of two words, right? And we say that these words are put together. So these two words are then put together and some of the letters are left out. And those letters that are left out, right? An apostrophe then shows where the letters are left out. So contraction is a short form of two words, right? And these two words are then put together and some of the letters are left out. And those letters that are left out, right, we put an apostrophe to show where the letters are left out, right? But now you can make a contraction with the word not. So you can make a contraction with the word not by dropping the letter O and we put an apostrophe in its place, right? So the word not, we drop the O and then we put the apostrophe in its place, right? And remember, we almost are putting these two words together. For example, is not. So is not. So is not, we basically have to put these two words together, right? But now it says that we need to drop the O in not, and then we need to put the apostrophe in its place. So is not. There we have is not. So which means that we drop the O and we put the apostrophe in its place. And now the word becomes isn't, right? It's like saying, um, he he is not he is not scared of the dog, right? So he is not scared of the dog, right? So we need to put these two words together and then remember we need to drop the O, right? And we need to put an apostrophe over there. So instead of saying he is not scared of the dog, we can say he isn't. They put an N, we drop the O, we put the apostrophe, we put the T, right? So he isn't scared of the dog, right? So the word isn't is the contraction, right? And we drop the O in the word not, and then we put these two words together, we just put the apostrophe in the place of the O, right? So we put the apostrophe in the place of it of the O. So instead of saying is not, we can say isn't. So isn't is the contraction of the two words is not. So he is not scared of the dog. It's the same like saying he isn't scared of the dog. All right. The next one we have is has not, right? Has not. So it's like saying she has not gone to the shops. yet, or to the market yet, right? So we need to put these two words together, has not, right? And remember, if we put those two words together, we drop the O. And then our sentence will sound like this. She hasn't. We put has and not together. We drop the O, put the apostrophe in the place of the O. So hasn't gone to the shops yet, right? So hasn't is the contraction, and it is the short form of the two words has not, right? So has not is basically the two words, and the short form of the words has not is hasn't. So she has not gone to the shops yet. It's the same as saying she hasn't gone to the shops yet. All right. All right. So that is with the word not, right? So we said that you can make a contraction with the word not by dropping the letter O and we put an apostrophe in its place, right? But now the contractions can't. The contractions can't is special, right? So can't is very special. It is short for cannot, right? Cannot. So cannot is the word. You see, as you can see, this is basically one word, right? But the way it basically sounds, it's as if two words are put together. So can and not. So cannot, right? So it is short for cannot. And to make the contractions, we need to then drop the letters in and we need to drop the letters O and we put the apostrophe in its place, right? So, for example, cannot. So we drop the N and we drop the O and we put the apostrophe in that place. So now it becomes can't, right? So I cannot play PS4 today, right? So I can't play my PlayStation 4 today, right? So instead of saying cannot, we're going to drop the N, we're going to drop the O, and then we say I can't. And remember, we put the apostrophe in the place of the N and the O that we drop. So I can't play PS4 today, right? So can't is the contraction or the short form of the word cannot. So cannot, right? And remember we said with can't is very special, right? And it is a short form for cannot. And if we change that word cannot into a short form, which is a contraction, then we drop the N, we drop the O, and we put the apostrophe in its place when we put those words together. All right, now we have won't, right? So the contractions won't is also special, right? So can't is special as well as won't is special, right? And won't is special because it is the short for will not. So I will not, right? Which means that the spelling, as you can see, the spelling, it changes when the two words are put together, right? So as you can see, it says will not, right? So it doesn't mean will means willn't, right? Because willn't is not a word, right? So that is why we say won't is a bit special because it basically, the let's say the spelling then changes when the two words are put together, right? So the spelling changes. So instead of saying will not, we then say won't. right? Will not, we will say won't. So, I will not, for example, do the dishes. Mm, So I will not, let's say, do the dishes, right? So instead of saying will not, we can then say I won't do the dishes. So won't is the shorter form for the word will not, right? And we also call a short form for a specific word, we call that contractions. So it is the contractions of the words will not. So did not, right? So did not. We need to write the contraction or the short form of the word did not, right? And the short form or the contractions of the word did not is didn't, right? You remember we said we put the did, we put the N, we drop the O, we put the apostrophe in the place of the O, and there we put our T, right? Didn't, right? It's like saying, I did not take the money. So I did not take the money without permission, right? It's the same as saying, I didn't take the money, right? Or I did not take the cookie, or I did not take his pen, or so on, right? So didn't is the contraction of the two words did not. Was not, right? So was not. If we find the short form of the word was not, then we can say it is wasn't. Because we have was, we put the N over there, we drop the O, we put the apostrophe, right? We put the apostrophe in place of the O and we put the T. So that is wasn't, right? So was not is our two words, right? But our short form for the word was not, is wasn't. So you can say, I I was not disrespectful. I was not disrespectful towards my peers. It's the same as saying, I wasn't disrespectful towards my peers. So the word wasn't is the contractions that is short for was not. All right, now we have hasn't, right? Has not. Has not. So the word has not, the short form of the word has not is hasn't, right? There we have has. We put the word not together, but instead of saying has not, we're going to remove the O, put the apostrophe in the place of the O, and put the T. So that is like saying has not, but it's hasn't, right? And that is the contraction of the two words, which is has not. So hasn't, right? All right, so now we're going on to our test. We need to fill in the contractions that matches the words. So was not. So was not. If we find the contraction of the short form of these two words was not, is it the first one, which is wasn't, right? Or was not, where we just put the apostrophe in between the two words, right? I remember we said that when you find a two words like that, right, then it means that we drop the O and we put the apostrophe in place of the O, which means that we will go with the first option, which is wasn't, right? Do not, right? Do not. We need to find the contractions of the words do not, right? And the contractions or the short form of the words do not is it don't or is it do not, right? Which means that we will choose the first option because we need to actually shorten the word do not and not write the full word. So don't is the correct answer or the contraction within that two words or the matching of the word. Cannot, right? And remember, we always say that cannot is special, right? And if we shorten cannot, right, then we can say it is can't, right? And we specifically say it's can't because cannot needs to be shortened. And in the first option, it is not shortened. All right, our last one has not. Has not, right? So we need to fill in the contractions of the words has not, right? So is it has not, that is just basically put together, or is it shortened by saying hasn't, right? So has not, hasn't, right? Which means that it is shortened by hasn't. And hasn't means has not, right? So that is basically our contractions, right? That is our contractions. All right. So now, once again, we have contractions, and the contractions is short form of the two words. And these are the words that are put together. And some of the letters are left out. And that letters that we leave out, we put an apostrophe to show where the letters are, right? So, yes. So we need to find the best possible contraction in order to fill in the sentence, right? So instead of saying you will, right? Instead of saying, for example, you will love the food here, we can say you'll love the food here. So you'll love the food here instead of saying you will love the food here. So let's choose another one. All right. Yeah, we need to say there aren't, there are not. We need to shorten this word. There are not many people here. And if we shortened that two words, right, then we can say it's aren't. Then we have are, right? Then we have an N. We drop the O, and then we have aren't, right? There aren't many people here, right? And that is us. That basically forms to go or completing sentences with the correct contractions. All right, so we're going to complete the sentence with the base contractions. The zoo. Is it the zoo wasn't open today? Or the zoo she's open today? He'll open today? Aren't open today? Right? So the zoo, do we say wasn't open today? She's open today? He'll open today? Or the zoo aren't open today? Right? So we can say that the zoo wasn't open today. It was not open today. All right. A baby girl. So do we say I'll a baby girl? It's a baby girl for it is, or they'll for they will a baby girl, or didn't or did not a baby girl. So we can say it's a baby girl. Doesn't bring cookies to the picnic, does not. They'll bring cookies to the picnics, they will. Weren't bringing cookies to the picnics, were not. He's bring cookies to the picnic, which is he is. So we'll say they will bring cookies to the picnic, right? So that is basically contractions, right? And we said contractions is a short form of the two words, right? And it's two words that we put together in order to basically make one word. And once we put that words together, the words that are left out, we put the apostrophe over there in order to show the letters that are missing, right? So that is contractions. So, thank you very much, grade ones, for being part of the lesson. I really hope that you had a good time with our lesson and you should have an amazing evening further. Good night.